Welcome back to the Breakdown with Luke. Over the last couple years, I've reviewed over 100 power banks of different sizes, different types. And I'm going to break down my top 5 picks for camping. Now, these are designed for people who want to go camping and just want something to make sure they don't run out of power, whether it's for emergencies, if you want to be out there, be able to call for help through things like the new T-Mobile Starlink deal, where you can send a text message no matter if you have service or not. We're going to be breaking down 5 great options to do that, or to just listen to music and have a phone with you. Now, each one of these power banks are a little bit different. I'm going to give you a few options from large power banks. I'll give you like a week's plus worth of power for your phone, to small ones that'll fit in your pocket, all depending on what you want it for. Are you looking for an emergency backup power supply, or are you looking for something that will allow you to go boondocking and still have some power for your electronics to make sure you're always connected in case of an emergency? So each one of these power banks will be a little different. They're listed 1 through 5, but they're all serve a different purpose, and I hope one will fit your needs. Now, one quick difference here, I did not include power stations. We're talking the huge battery packs that got 2 massive handles on them or wheels to go with you. We've focused on power banks more, ones that can fit in a backpack, a pocket, and the like, to go with you when you go camping. Now, I will put a link to each recommended player here in the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. So if you find one you like, you can find it, and I'll put them in order there so you can find them as you watch it. Number 2, if you like what we do here, please consider hitting subscribe and hitting thumbs up. But here we go. Here is a breakdown of the top 5 I picked out from over 100 different power banks I have tested. Luke, today we're going to be taking a look at Anker's brand new portable battery pack. Now, this offers up to 100 watts charging on it, has 2 built-in USB-C cables, one on the handle here, and then one at the top that is retractable actually. With that said, let's dive into it. Take a look at the actual battery pack. It's a pretty nice battery pack, kind of that slate gray, you're probably pretty used to it. This looks just like a strap, but it's actually, if I can slide it forward, it locks in there pretty tight. It's actually a USB-C cable that then goes back in here and slides in and makes a little hook here to hang it. There's also at the very top here another USB-C that you can flip out and then pull out. It gives you a pretty nice length cable. And you can snap it and it goes right back in. On the side here you have 2 USBs, a USB-C and a standard USB. You can recharge the device through this and through the attached cables too to recharge it. There is a very nice display here with this that you can get current things like battery percentage, status on the battery, health, all kinds of different things with it. When it's charging or when it's recharging, it will also display things like how much longer until it's fully recharged, or how fast it's putting out power, how much longer this current usage you have power left in it, which is really nice. A few things with this. It is 100 watt out. Max. That means that's the most you're going to get from a single port on this. Now, we did successfully test this on our Lenovo Yoga laptop. It's a 100 watt USB-C. Did great. Max charged my laptop. Gave it extra battery power, which is great if you're traveling and you're working on an airplane. Who here has not been on an airplane where either A, the plug's not available, or it just doesn't work? Having this is a great way. This will work on iPhones, everything, over 2,500 milliamps of battery power in there, 4 to 6 charges, depending on what kind of phone you have on there, or where you'll be able to do it from 0 all the way to full recharge. You can charge up to 4 devices at once with this, which is really nice with it. Also to, get your laptop charging, top off your phone, top off your wireless earbuds, your tablet, or maybe you just, 2 phones, iPhones, Androids, whatever it may be, a tablet and wireless earbuds. You got the whole family covered maybe. Overall, 2 big thumbs on that. Now, if you use all of them, you're obviously not getting 100 watts out of just all that. So just keep in mind, the more you plug in, the more it breaks up. This is really targeted for people who want a small form factor battery that has a large capacity and can charge mini laptops on the market. It's definitely not the cheapest battery pack on the market at 100 watts, but it does offer that huge capacity the 2 built-in USB-C cables, which I absolutely love because who here has not ever hated to get the battery pack and then wind the cable around it or have to remember to pack the cable. It's nice to just have one thing and it's like, hey, we're good. We're going to hit the road and we got everything we need to recharge our devices here if we're camping, hiking, maybe just as an emergency backup power with it. Overall, 2 thumbs up. Would recommend this. Today we're going to be taking a look at Anker's new 60,000 milliamp battery pack. This has up to 140 watts out, 200 in total. It can be charged by solar panels, USB-C, and a whole lot to offer with this. We're going to break down the pros and cons, talk to you about why you may want to consider this for your emergency kit or maybe everyday use depending on what you do with it. So let's just start taking a look at the actual device. So you got a bunch of charging ports, 2 standard USB outs, 3 USB-Cs. Now, there is a 140 watt. They are clearly marked here on which one does what. So you have 15 watts, 100, okay, there we go. 15 watts, 100 watts, and 140 watts max up to 200 watts. So you can't do both the 140 and the 100 at the same time. Expect 240. It'll just cap both at about 100. Now it does also clearly mark which one of these ports are in and out for USB-C charging. Pay attention to that. If you plug it in just to an out port, it's just not going to charge the device if you plug this into a wall charger. It also has a display screen here that shows how much battery power is left, how fast you're using it, how much time you have to remain either to charge it or how much time you have remaining to continue to use it to charge other devices. Let's take a look at everything that came with it. Oh yeah, and there's a handy little strap to carry around with. But let's take a look at everything that came with this and talk about the pros and cons of it. Starting off with, we already talked about the fact that it's 200 watts, but no single USB-C port goes out up to 200 watts. They're 15 watts, 100 watts, and max of 140 watts with that, which is nice because 140 watts will charge most laptops that use USB-C with that. So it's a pretty nice little touch there. If you're like me and you're buying this to ensure your laptop continues to be powered in a blackout, this is a pretty nice option. I do my work online, so it's very important that I maintain power no matter where I am. Now there is an older model of this that's also 60,000 milliamps. Few things. This has faster charging in and out. It also includes a solar panel charger on it, but it does not have the built-in light. The other one includes a built-in light you can use as like a lamp in case of an emergency. There is also an app on this that you can use to monitor it from your cell phone. I've used several Anker devices with that. I personally have not found a use for it, but it is a nice option there. Overall, it's a really nice 60,000 milliamps. With this is enough to give you like 10 charges of a new iPhone, for example. Depending on your laptop or other devices, it will vary wildly. But if you have a new iPhone out there, a standard, I would expect to easily get 10 charges, making this a great emergency power device to keep in your backup. Now, if you have a solar panel, you can connect this to the solar panel either through a USB-C cable to your solar panel or with the SolarN 28 volt adapter that many solar panels come with to help recharge this during the day and then have it run at night. If you live in hurricane country, earthquake country, tornado country, let's be honest, some part of the country you're in a potential where you could lose power. Maybe you're up north where blizzards and ice storms can knock out power for an extended period of time. Having a battery pack like this can help ensure you're ready to go. Now it's also pretty small, pretty light for its 60,000 capacity and 140 watts out, which makes it good for you going camping. Well, we all say, well, you want to get away from stuff. Yeah, I do want to get away from stuff, but I also like to know I can contact home if I'm boondocking in an emergency. Hey, T-Mobile is now testing out their text messages from space with Starlink, so you can always be connected. It's good to have a power source like this to make sure your phones can connect in case of an emergency if you're out there in the rural areas. Overall, 2 thumbs up. It's a nice battery pack. 60,000 milliamps is a huge amount of power. It's a decent price to put into an emergency kit or for everyday use, depending on what you want. And I love the fact that this is not only powerful to charge my phones, tablets, wireless earbuds, it's also powerful enough to charge my Lenovo Yoga laptop through USB-C in case of a power outage. Today we're going to be taking a look at Ugreen's brand new 25,000 milliamp battery pack with 200 watts out. Now the nice thing about this battery pack, the way it's set up, is this can always max charge 90-some% of laptops out there that take USB-C. It will always at least give you 140 watts out of a single port, even if you're using all 3 of the different charging ports that are available through this. We'll break down why that's important, why you should consider this, the pros and cons of it, and a whole lot more. Let's dive into it. Start off with just taking a look at the device itself. It's a pretty standard battery pack. It's got 2 USB-Cs, 1 standard USB. It does have a display here. Now, you turn it on with a little button on the side here, and it gives you information like how much battery pack or charge you have left in this, how fast it's charging other devices, how fast it's charging, and a whole lot more with it. Let's take a look at everything that came with this. I'll break down a few important key points with it in a quick second. Starting off with the fact that it's 200 watts in total. Now, when you use all 3 ports at once, it takes that and divides it out. The nice thing about it is it goes and always locks the first USB-C port to at least 140 watts with it, which is pretty nice. And then it divides the rest. Now, that does mean the second USB port drops down to only 20 watts with that. Now, if you only use the 2 USB ports and not all 3, you can get 2 100-watt charges at the same time, which is pretty nice. If you charge in all 3 different devices, this will allow you to max charge in a standard iPhone 15, a Lenovo Yoga laptop like mine that max charges at 100 watts, and even I'll max charge my wireless earbuds, making this a great battery pack to go with you when you want to make sure you can charge your laptop, phones, and more. Now, this is a 25,000 milliamp battery pack. Now, with that, if you're just charging like an iPhone 15, iPhone 14, you should get 5 to 6 full charges from 0 to full with this, making this a great battery pack for emergencies. I always recommend nowadays with power outages, a lot of cell phone towers run off of generators. Having a battery pack like this around to make sure you got power for your devices is really nice. If you're out there, want to make sure you can always get emergency information, contact people, and the like. Overall, though, I think the downside to this is the fact that when 3 devices are charging on it, the second USB-C port drops down to just 20 watts. It is fast enough to give you a rapid charge. Some newer phones, like the new Pixel 9 line, the new iPhone 15 Pro version, that goes up to 30 watts, where the standard just goes up to 20, won't max charge. I think for most people that won't be a problem. In our testing, we did successfully max charge our Nintendo Switch, iPad, Pixel 9 Pro XL, and many other devices that we tested on it without problems. Worked exactly like we would expect it to, and more. How fast this battery pack recharges depends on what you plug into it. With this, a standard USB 20 watt or higher should easily recharge this battery pack overnight with it. You just plug it into the USB-C port to charge it. Overall, I'll give this 2 thumbs up. It does what it says it's going to do, does it well. I love the fact that they lock one port to always be over 100 watts. That way, at least 100 watts or higher, that way you're able to go and charge a laptop and a phone and something else when you're flying, traveling, or wherever it may be. It's definitely heavier. It does qualify, though, for air travel, though this I would consider to be a little heavier than most people would want. It is nice to have the ability there to charge your laptop, charge your phone, and other devices all at once. Today we're going to be taking a look at Anker's brand new 20,000 milliamp battery pack with 30 watts of charging and a built-in USB-C along with a built-in lightning cable, which is really nice as Apple switches over to USB-C on many devices. You may have a mixture of what you want, but this device brings both of them built into one battery pack. With that said, let's dive into it. Taking a look at the battery pack first. Pretty standard battery pack. It's a 20,000 milliamp battery pack. There is a button on the side here that turns on an LED display telling you how much power is left. That's all it does. The only reason they do that is so that it doesn't drain the battery. Even though it's an LED, it would slowly drain the battery. It does include a standard USB out, USB-C here, in and out, where you can charge and you can charge other things and recharge the battery pack by plugging this into the wall there. And then 2 different built-in cables here. I'm on camera. There we go. See, 2 different cameras. So the vast majority of devices now either seem to be Lightning or USB-C. Be able to do it. It's a nice little length here, not too long, but nice to have this built in. One of the things I can always hate about battery packs is having to remember the cable. And it does lock in there, making this like a little hoop right there where you can put a carabiner or whatever to hold it with. But I love how these are nice fabric. that you can use it to always have the cables you want for the devices you need. Let's take a look at everything that came with this as I break down a few important pros and cons. Starting off with, it's a 20,000 milliamp battery pack that should give you roughly 4 to 5 full charges depending on your device. Slightly varies. You may get a little bit more, a little bit less depending on the size of your device. Phones with smaller batteries will be closer to the 5. Larger phones with larger batteries will be closer to the 4 complete recharges with this. Now 30 watts is the max out in total, which means you're not necessarily going to get 30 watts to all. As phones increasingly get 30 watts and more, it's important to know that for a full max charge, you need to pay attention to that. But you can get multiple rapid charges or multiple fast charge or standard charges out of this battery pack and charge up to 4 devices at once if you bring 2 extra sets of cables with a standard USB and a USB-C with it. Overall, very happy with it. It's a good quality battery pack. Successfully, we're able to test our iPad, Nintendo Switch, Pixel 9 Pro, wireless earbuds, and more without problems. It's really nice to be able to get 4 to 5 full recharges. Makes this a nice little battery pack to have for multiple people and to have it available for your needed emergencies. The slightly slower wattage is kind of disappointing, though. There are options that offer faster wattage in this battery size. They just cost more money. With phones increasingly becoming 30 watts or higher, it's a nice to have the power. Think of wattage like the size of a hose, right? If you're filling a pool, a garden hose will do it, just be very slow. A fire hose will fill it a lot faster. Higher the wattage, bigger the hose, the more power it can force onto your phone without problem. Now these are designed not to overcharge your phone. If your phone is only a 20 watt, it will just give you 20 watts worth of charging, for example. So overall, 2 thumbs up, very impressed, would recommend this. I'll put a link to it in the show notes and in the first pinned comment, so you can find it on Amazon there. Today we're going to be taking a look at Anker's massive 90,000 milliamp battery pack with 288 watt out, 300 watt solar charging on this. This is a massive battery pack here, meant to make sure you have power on the go, or the reason I got it, for an emergency. As we've seen with all the recent storms and weather and all kinds of things happening, blackouts, extended ones can still happen in the United States. And we are being prepared by having this. With my job being so much online, this is powerful enough to charge my laptops, phones, all kinds of stuff and keep me running for a considerable period of time if the power does go out. We'll be covering the pros and cons of this, talk about a few important things you need to know about it, and more here in a quick second. But that's it. Let's dive into it. Starting off with the actual battery pack itself. As you see, tons of charging ports. You do have a few options for in. You have 2 USB-Cs here, so you can actually charge this like 200 plus watts in from 2 separate USB-C chargers at once. You have a solar input panel here. So if you have a solar panel with this connector, you can do that direct, or from a solar panel with USB-C on this. I was testing this out from about 30% to full on a 30 watt charger. It would take about 7 hours. But if you plug in 2 100 watts, they say about 80% charge in about an hour. It does have a nice display. There's even a Bluetooth capability here to connect it to your phone to get all kinds of information about power usage, recharging, and the like. There is I would always call these the cigarette lighter. The circular little chargers that you get in cars are also built into this. But you can charge a lot of things. 5 different out charging ports at once with 140 watts through a possible USB-C on this, which is really nice to do most laptops. It also has the ability here to have a light that you can use to be able to operate as a lantern to light your house in an extended power outage. Let's take a look at everything that came with this. I'm going to talk about a few pros and cons with it. Starting off with number 1, important, I will get this question. Can you fly with this? No, this does not meet the requirements to fly. 1, it's very heavy. This is quite a heavy thing, not something you can want to just throw in your backpack and carry around all day with you. So keep that in mind. But what can you expect from this? This is a crate like all-week charger. You can easily get 10 to 20 charges on mini phones out there with this, which is the reason I'm getting it. I'm going to charge this, put it in our emergency kit, and just keep an eye on it. That if we run into problems, we have it there. We have solar panels that I can charge this through in case of an emergency. And then after it charges, I'll take it and store it and use this at night to recharge phones, laptops, and other devices, helping me continue to do my work keep connected and keep informed on what's happening in the world around me if there would happen to be a massive power outage. A few important things. There is a lot to know here with it. Again, you cannot fly with it. It does clearly mark which ports you will be able to use. 3 USB-Cs offer 20 watts or higher. 1 is locked under 20 watts. Only 2 of the USB-C ports allow you to recharge the device. If you make the mistake I did and just shove a USB-C to start charging it, and a minute later you're looking and realize, oh, it needs to go in the one next to it, make sure to look at the descriptions for each USB-C port. They clearly say how much wattage and which ones can be used for recharging. There is no wall charger included with this. You need to supply your own. Higher the wattage, the better. Like I said, I tested this on a 30-watt charger. From 30% to 100% would have taken over 7 hours of recharging. If you're charging it overnight, or maybe you're charging it through the day to use it overnight, that's fine. But if you need a rapid charge, you're going to want to use something a little faster. Overall, everything worked as it should. It successfully max charged my Lenovo Yoga laptop, which is a 100-watt USB-C laptop, Pixel 9, Nintendo Switch, iPad, wireless earbuds, and more. No problem. Even though it has this ability to go really high in wattage, if your device is a lower wattage, it will still work without issues. This is really great as an emergency backup battery pack, or if you're boondocking and you want to make sure you have power in case of an emergency out boondocking, it's not bad. Would not recommend trying to carry this around in a backpack. It's quite heavy. So overall, 2 thumbs up. Would recommend. I'll put a link in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. Well, there you go. There are my top 5 picks. Now, again, everybody's going to use power a little different. Do you want something to make sure you can read your books on your Kindle while you're out in the wilderness, or listen to music while you're gone, listen to podcasts out in nature and enjoy it? Or do you just want a small power bank for emergencies to make sure you don't run out of power if something were ever to happen and you needed to call for help? These are great options for that. Again, all kinds of price points here, size and difference. None of them are right for everybody. Pick the one that fits your needs. Do you want one that's going to make sure you have a whole week worth of power? Or are you going to get the one that's smaller, fits in your pocket just in case of an emergency to make sure you have some power to go with it? Which one did you pick? Which one do you like? How do you use your phone out in nature and need power? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'll love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and again, link in the show notes down below for all the ones I just showed.